Amazon, a big tech giant company. That's where Ankita landed from a tier 3 college.
With no IT tag, no elite background, just pure hard work. So in this video, we'll be covering everything you need to know to get this role yourself.
And how did she crack it? Let's find out. I am Madhav.
I am Tanish
And let's get started.
So, hey Ankita, we are super excited to have you on our podcast. So, it would be fun to hear about your journey to FANG company. So, like, there are so many things we want to talk about, but let's start with a quick introduction. Tell us about yourself, your college, when did you like started preparing for FANG companies?
Okay, so hello everyone. I'm Ankita and I'm from Pune. And I joined Amazon in 2022 as a fresher. So I'm from ASSMS College of Engineering, Pune. And yeah, so I started my preparation in mostly in third year, not a very early preparation kind of person. So I started with the technical and non-technical preparation on and off from mostly from third year.
Okay. So, Amazon is like a tier one company, and you were from like tier two, tier three college. So, like, how did you landed into Amazon? Like, what was your experience? How did you apply?
Right. So it for me, it basically started with me being a Google Developer Student Club's lead. So that is how I, got into a LinkedIn network. I understood like the power of networking, what people are exactly doing on LinkedIn and everything. So then I applied for Amazon's internship in my third year. Okay. And then I did not, so I sent my resume, but I did not get any reply from them. And in my fourth year, I was opting for other companies, but Amazon was never in the plan. But somehow, for some reason, as they had my resume in their database, I got a call from interviewer that here is an OA link. If you are interested, you can proceed with the OA. So that is how it started with Amazon. And then the interviews happened, and then rest is history.
That's interesting. Nice.
So now before we get into your preparation journey, there are a few Amazon specific questions that a lot of students are curious about. So the very first question is, how relevant is the material which is present online under the name of Amazon Prep Series or on various websites?
Right, right. So for me, as I was from a tier three college, off-campus placements or a tier one companies like Amazon, Google was a very distant or very you could dream like a thing.
Hmm.
So from the college perspective or from the mentorship perspective, it was little difficult for me. So I had to rely on the online, resources only. And to be honest with you, in 2022 also there were very good, preparation series, cheat sheets, or there are DSA questions that are made, right? Like for example, Stiver's sheet or Love DSA sheet. They were actually really really helpful, and I have seen similar kind of questions getting asked in the Amazon interview or my Microsoft interview or even my Google's interview. So the material that was available back then was also very relevant, and currently though there are so many more things that are available for you in the market. So I think for you, if there is no solid support from your college end, the online resources that are available currently are good enough for you to just crack a fan company if you are ready to do the hard work.
Very well said. So
Yeah.
you also mentioned that you also interviewed in Microsoft and Google. So what was the experience there?
Yeah, so for Microsoft, I actually complete. So I had my Amazon and my Microsoft round together in like similar time frame. And for that time for Microsoft, I completed three rounds, like full rounds, but for some reason I was not selected. And for Google, I actually got interviewed in my third year when I was not well prepared. So I was okay with my first round. I got selected in my first round. In second round, I got rejected because there was a little hard, like medium hard question type of question, and I was not able to completely solve it. So Google happened in third year, and Microsoft happened in fourth year.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
So another question that most people are having is about Amazon's product environment compared to
Mm.
other product-based company in terms of difficulty. So
Mm.
can you shed a light on that?
Yeah, yeah, sure. So, for Amazon, right? From whatever experiences I have heard about the product environment of other companies from my friends who are working there currently, product and environments are like very similar, things, there are processes in place as there are big
Hmm.
companies. You are working at a big scale. So there are processes in place. But the only difference I feel that is in Amazon and also other tier one company employees also feel the same. That in Amazon, the environment is very much like startup. So you have to just get things done. You will be given a problem, you have to figure things out, and you'll just have to get things done and you'll just have to deliver the results. That's it. Then you have
Hmm.
to take care of everything, the scale, the problem, the best solution that you could get for a particular problem. Obviously there will be people, but the environment is very fast paced, and if you're not able to do that, then you are left behind very easily. So in Amazon you
Hmm.
have to work like, you have to learn things quickly, you have to unlearn things quickly basically, and you have to just do it on the go. So that is what I felt like working with Amazon.
Sounds pretty amazing. So, like in this kind of fast-paced environment, you get lot of new things to learn quickly. So, yeah,
Yes,
that's the good part of the product-based companies and most of the startup cultures.
exactly. Yeah.
So, yeah, can you tell us like what are the typical working hours at Amazon and how did you manage? Like, is it virtual? Is it remote? Is it in office? And like, what are the working hours?
Yeah, so for me, when I joined in 2022, it was the COVID time. So it was a hybrid model. So I had to go to office for few days and I used to work from my home for few days. So it was like that. One of the best things about Amazon is there is no login and log out nonsense. So you come, you sit there for whatever hours you want, and you just get your work done. So the only expected thing from you, this is your task, this is your delivery date, which also are flexible and you get to choose it. So that depends on the task or that depends on the team. But it just that you just have your task at your hand. You have to get it done by some particular date. You just do it from home, do it from office, do it however you want to do it in 2 hours and then chill, or you want to do it in 12 hours, what, 1 day, 2 day, that is all on your own. So there is no, you have to work for 9 hours every day, you have to work for 8 hours every day and things like that. So for me, many of the times it used to happen that we used to do things quickly, like in 2 3 hours, and then we used to go for lunch or chill a little. Sometimes we used to stretch a little, like more than 8 9 hours. So it is a very flexible model, and that is one of the things I really love about Amazon.
Correct. This
Yeah,
happens with most of the product-based companies,
exactly. It's very flexible.
right? So apart from this, can you share the types of projects you have worked on at Amazon?
Yeah, so for me, so I'm in Alexa, okay? I'm in Alexa org, and the tech stack that we use for Alexa or for my service, we are a tier one service. We are like a gateway service. So the tech stack we use is mainly Java, Spring Boot, and we are a backend service. We don't have a particular UI. So we serve the traffic. We are like a gateway service. We just pass the traffic from one service to another service to do things. So we mainly use Spring and Spring Boot. We don't have database as such because we don't save the any kind of data. We just pass it. Then I have also got to work on AWS because AWS is also used for deployment purposes as Amazon. So I've
Hmm.
worked with AWS. That was a really good experience. You get to learn a lot of internal things about AWS when you're working from like inside the Amazon. Also the build system that they use, right? We use Maven in general, like outside of Amazon. But in Amazon, they have something called as Brazil. So that we use like for build system. So that is also very interesting. So there are many things that are internal to Amazon, which are very, very interesting and a really good problem that has been solved. So very smart minds.
Yeah, yeah. So it must be an amazing feeling when you work on projects which normal audiences are using. Uh,
Exactly.
yeah. So all right, let's talk about compensation and perks a little. So
Hmm.
we saw Glassdoor and Ambition Box that Amazon offers a range of around 20 to 30 LPA for SDE roles. So beside the salary, were there any perks or benefits that caught your attention?
Right. So as a student, obviously the s- salary matters, and compensation was one of the like huge thing, and Amazon offers more like highest compensation out of all the tier one companies, even more than Google or Microsoft. But the other two things that were, at least I was very curious or I was very interested in, that was, first one was the scale
Hmm.
Amazon works at is huge. So you get to learn a lot about scale. Second, as I mentioned, very smart people. I got to sit with them. I got to learn a lot from very, very smart, like some of the very smart mind. The way they talk, the way they communicate, the way they try to solve the problem or also even approach the problem was very interesting and was very new to me when I joined, because so everyone basically gets involved in the discussion, my manager, team lead, senior engineers, and the way they try to solve the problem, the way they approaches the problem, the way they break down the problem, it is very good. And that I think I got to learn a lot.
Sure. Okay, so let's get into the placement process now. What was the vibe of the online test? More coding focused, logical reasoning, or a mix?
Okay, so for me, I had to go through two online assessments. First one was mainly DSA questions, two DSA questions, easy medium, 1 hour of time, plus the leadership principle based questions. So there are a few questions which you get 15 minutes. Those are solely based on Amazon's leadership principle, and you have to answer that. And based on that, that is how the cultural fit happens at Amazon. Then second was online assessment, which was again 1 hour, two DSA questions, which was lead code medium hard level questions. So there were two OAs basically for my interview experience.
Mhm. Okay.
Yeah.
And how many questions were there in the cultural one? Do you
There
remember?
were around 50 or so. So that was like a agree, not agree. So just wanted to know how you think, what is
Mm-hmm.
the thought process? Are you
Okay.
you just understand if you are a good cultural fit.
Okay.
Okay.
And yeah, and for second online assessments, again, there was 1 hour, two DSA questions, medium hard level questions, lead code medium hard.
Okay. So was the time sufficient, or do you think like more time was needed to solve that questions?
No, I guess 1 hour is so for first online assessment, the questions were pretty easy because I was practicing regularly. So they were pretty easy. One was, I remember, string based, one was tree based. And in the second online assessment, one was graph and one was DP. So for second, the questions were obviously little, the complexity were little, tougher. But
Hmm.
1 hour is more than enough, I guess, to solve those two questions. So if you are like, if you are practicing regularly, then 1 hour is much more than sufficient for that level of questions, I would say. So in online assessment, it was mainly focused on DSA and only the leadership principles. That's it. So there was no CS fundamental questions as such.
Uh, can you shed a little bit light on technical interviews? How many were there, and like what was the process?
Right. So for me, I had three interview rounds. Of
Okay.
two were taken by engineers and third was a managerial round. So every round
Mhm.
was an elimination round. OA was also elimination rounds. So my first round, again, it was two DSA questions, 45 minutes of time. I had to give them the working code, also explain the thought process and everything. So with the working code, they expect you to explain the thought process, and if you get more time, they ask you to improvise the solution, or else they can give you another question, or else you can just discuss about, they can just ask you technical questions about, let's say, time complexity or other aspects. So in my first round, there were only mainly two DSA questions, and I solved it pretty quickly, and he was happy with it, and so interview ended little quicker than 45 minutes. My second interview round was little interesting. So there were again two DSA questions. I solved it, and then we started to discuss about technical things. For example, what is the time complexity of few of the popular problems? What do you think? How would you solve it? Which data structure can be used for this? So they will just try, either they will just try to hint you if you're going wrong when you're trying to give a solution, or they will try to trick you to see how clear are you with your fundamentals in DSA. So these both of these things happened in my second interview. So that was a little interesting round. My third round was a managerial round, which was my favorite round. The DSA questions were based on tree. And once those DSA questions were done, then he started asking me questions about CS fundamentals and also the leadership principles. So for leadership principle, usually what people do, what I have learned is you use the star method.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so have you like what is the situation? How will you do? Like what task will you do, and what are the things that you will do? You have to give it to them point by point. So then only it looks more presentable. So that is what I practiced for this third round of interview. CS fundamental questions were there. Mainly it was on networking and OS, less on DBMS, but there were still questions about that in my last round of interview.
Okay.
Mhm.
So, can you share some of the topics that you were asked in these interviews?
Topics as in for DSA or for CS fundamental?
For DSA and CS1 both actually.
Both. Okay.
Hmm.
For DSA, I guess you have heard ki Amazon focuses a lot on graph and DP
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
and trees also. So most of my questions were trees, DP or graphs. DP actually I did not get asked in my interviews. But graph and trees questions were there mostly they were there, and or else it had to be an array question which needed a proper logic, proper reasoning, like a formula calculating and then doing things to improvise the solution to get the good time complexity. So mainly those were the things. And for CS fundamental, as I said, DBMS was very less. Mainly it was related to OS, how processes work, what exactly happens behind the scenes. So you have that when you learn theory, right? When you have the operating system as a subject, and you learn that theory in that book, that actually helped me. So, when you have a operating system or any basically CS fundamental that is important, which is computer networks, DBMS, OOPS, and OS, when you have it as a subject, I would recommend all the students to get into that theory and learn about it, because later when you get into the industry, that is the theory that is going to be like useful for you to do your tasks every day. So that helped me a little.
Also, you mentioned ki like most of the rounds were more mainly focused on DSA. So,
Hmm.
what are the preparation resources which you referred for cracking this rounds? Like, what helped you the most?
Right, right. So when I started in my third year, I used to refer to GFG for I used to use GFG as a platform to code basically. Then later I switched to lead code. And how I prepared was I used to prepare topic wise, and then later, a timed answer just to prepare for the interviews. Then I used to give contest again for the timing, that how quickly I'm able to solve the question. The resources that mainly helped me was these two platforms, GFG and LeetCode, to solve the question. Second, is for DSA related content, I would definitely suggest Triver. He's just too good at what he's doing. The way he explains things are just super clear, super, like it's very good. The sheet that is available from I guess 170 or 180 questions are there. So that sheet is also very, very helpful. Then for DSA, mainly for dynamic programming, I would recommend Aditya Verma. He has a playlist. He has multiple playlists that are also very good. He's also very good at what he's doing. So these two channels I mainly recommended while preparing for DSA. And for CS fundamentals, I used to go through the book. I had reference books. So I used to read from the books only. And then for cheat sheets, right? When you're actually giving the interview, let's say you have your interview tomorrow. For cheat sheets, I referred again GFG and Interview Bit. They have amazing cheat sheets you can use for all the CS fundamental subjects.
Interesting.
Okay.
Hmm.
So, did you solve all the questions on paper, or you were given access to PC or laptop to code on
In the interview, right?
in the interview? Yes.
Yeah. So they have something called as Amazon Doc, and they just present you as a sheet which has the question. You have to solve it there. So you can't run your code. You have to manually check and understand that this will not contain any bug. And if interviewer finds it, he will either tell you or he will just judge you silently based on how you have written the code. So you have to write a very crisp running code. They will not run it obviously, but they know what kind of bugs can come out of this code. So they want or they expect a running code with, properly naming conventions, the most optimized answer and everything. So you will be judged on that. So yeah.
So, by your answers, I feel like Amazon is mostly into checking the logics. And so, is there any tricky or memorable question that caught you off guard?
Yeah, so in my second round of interview, once we were done with the DSA questions, my interviewer suddenly asked me, what is the time complexity of Tower of Hanoi? And I was I was expecting that, Tower of Hanoi is a very popular problem. So I was expecting that it might come, or it might get asked basically in my interview, but I was not expecting that only, verbally the time complexity will be asked to me. So I had to actually draw the disk and the rods and everything to understand. So because when he asked, I gave the answer because I knew it, but then he asked, explain, like, why is it like that? So then I had to actually draw the disc and the rods. So it was a very interesting discussions, and that also caught me off guard, that this kind of questions or this kind of interview can also happen with Amazon, apart from like normal DSA flow that they go through.
Nice. So
Yeah.
were there any project related questions?
So in my last round, right, as it was a managerial round, it was a
Hmm.
combination of technical plus non-technical. So after my technical, like DSA questions were done, I was asked about the projects that I have done. I've put it in my resume. So all the technical details, why did you choose this? When did you do this? And things like that. So yes, there were questions related to the projects I have added, and they do matter when you are, telling about your projects to the interviewer. You should know all the details about what you have actually developed. So yes.
Let's talk about the big moment. When were you like, where were you when you got the Amazon offer, and like, what was your reaction?
Yeah, so it's a very, again, a very interesting story. I was, so I gave my interviews, all three rounds. They went good. I was expecting like a positive response from their side. Then month passed by and nothing. And I knew that Amazon most probably, like mostly don't send the rejection mails. So I thought I am rejected, and I accepted that. I had other interviews planned and I was just going ahead with my life. But that some like the thing was there that I have, like, the interviews went well, then what exactly happened, I'm not sure. So later, after a month, I was just scrolling at 11 p.m. I was just scrolling through my mails, and I filtered it out via Amazon just to see things. And then I was going through all the, the mails that we get from Amazon.in, right?
Hmm.
About any sale or about any product or whatever. I was just going through that, and when Amazon sends a selection mail, it sends, the subject is like this: Congratulations, you got the offer. So I thought it is like an advertisement of something. I thought it is an offer. They're talking about the offer on a product or something. So I was like, "Yeah, huh, it's fine." And then I just opened it. I was just reading to it. And when I read the first paragraph, then I got to know it's about the offer that I'm getting as an software engineer. So also the interesting part was, this was the last day to accept the offer. I had received this mail 5 days ago, and then at last day I was seeing this mail, and that was like the last 1 hour to accept that offer. So
Oh,
it was a very thrilling and excited moment for me. So then I accepted it at that time. But it
And
was a very interesting day. It was a nice, fun day.
who did you share your joy? Like, who was close to you when you got to know like you're selected in Amazon?
Right. So at like it was like 11 p.m. So we were just about to go to bed. So my mom was there. So she was the first one to knew about that I had gotten an offer, because I started jumping because I was very happy. And
yeah.
yeah, so she was the first one to know. Later I told my dad, my brother, and later I told my friends. They were also very excited because, for a tier 3 college kid, it's a very good thing, right? It's a very huge thing also for their friends also, that, you know, that my friend got into a tier 1 company. So it was a very, very happy moment for all of us.
Now that you're part of Amazon, so what does your current role look like, and what are the tech stack that you work on?
Right. So I'll talk about two things. One is the responsibility, like what is expected from me as a SD1, and second is the growth or the things that you get to learn as an SD1. So talking about
Hmm.
the responsibility, first thing is you should know how to get to the most optimized solution if a task is given to you. So in the starting, as a fresher, what Amazon expects it that you will be given a task, plus you will be given the context. Okay. And then you are expected to solve the task with as little help as possible. But later, as you grow, for after like 6 months, what is expected from you is that you will be given a task which will be clearly defined, obviously, but you should move ahead with, you know, almost no help. So that is how you grow. So that is what the expected things are from Amazon. So you will basically get the design, you will get the very detailed problem statement that these are the things that we do, this is how flow is going to work and things like that. And then you will actually work on that particular tasks, right? So main task is to do the clean coding fundamentals. You have to adhere to, then you have to adhere to how the code base is looking. And then so in Amazon you own everything. So you own the coding part, you own the testing part, you own the deployment part, everything. So there is no deployment team or ops team as such. There is no testing team, at least for my team, there is no testing team as such. So you write the tests, run the test, you check all the results, you deploy, you keep an eye on the things that are, or the changes that are going through the deployment currently or the pipeline. So you have to own everything. So that is what is basically expected from an SD1. So ownership is very much expected for your particular task. Second is, what are the things that you get to learn is, as you progress as an SDE1, slowly what happens is once you're comfortable with the service, once you're comfortable with how the deployments and how every other things are working, then the things that are expected is you will be given a task or a problem and you have to figure out all the possible solutions, what is best of them, and then you have to present it to the team. Like how, for example, how new SD2s actually work. So that is expected from you after like a 6 months or a 1 year of time period. So you get to learn a lot about, how to derive multiple solution, how to actually get to the most optimized solutions, writing that technical doc, convincing your team members why this is the best solution, and then actually working on it, actually deploying it, actually seeing all the issues and everything. So there is something called a COE, correction of error. So that is a document that if any productionized error happens from your change, you have to write it. Basically the teams want it, but you have to write it and you have to learn from it. So there are questions which will make sure that you answer why the incident happened and how we will try to do things that will not again, make this kind of incident happen again. So you have to present that to leadership. So you get to learn a lot of things about how we present things to the leadership, how we actually own the problems that has been occurred because of us. So yeah, as an SD1, these are the, on high level, these are the things I got to learn from Amazon.
Okay.
Now is the time for the another section of the podcast where we share your wisdom with the people. So can you break down the best preparation roadmap for someone who is aiming to crack a role at Amazon?
Yeah, so basically from my experience, the interview process is very, very similar for all the tier 1 companies like FANG, basically. It's DSA based mainly, then the CS fundamentals and your communication skills. So everything you have to gather together and then be prepared, and then you have to present yourself to the interviewer. So I would just talk about in general for product-based companies off campus, how one should prepare. So I'll just divide it in 4 years, right? When we join as an student in your first year, what I would suggest is do the networking, learn about the subjects that are actually given to you. For example, there are subjects like Java, C, or OOPS, C++, whatever the languages that are there, learn it properly because that will be used when you actually enter the industry. So first year is for networking, to learn about the subjects, to learn about, just participate in multiple, if there are coding clubs in your colleges, get into that one. If there are not no coding clubs in your college, create a new one, or just communicate, just network, open your LinkedIn account and just go through all the things that are available, and start slowly with the DSA, I would suggest. So first, just take a language whichever you like. You can try all the languages out there, and you can just whatever the language that you are comfortable with. Once you are clear with all the fundamentals of one particular language, then you can start DSA. So in your second year, I would suggest to start with the DSA preparation, solve lead code questions. Sometimes lead code or sometimes DSA preparation is little daunting because when you switch from easy to medium, the logic building is still not there, right? But if you do it
Hmm.
consistently, it will come eventually. And then once you are good at logic building, DSA is a very, very, very interesting topic, and it's like it becomes obsession at some point in a good way. So you love to solve the problems, you love to build the logic, you literally try to understand things. If this is happening, what could be the logic behind it, even in real life. For example, you try to see things which are DSA based. For example, let's say you're putting in a socks and then a shoes, so it's like a stack, right? And then you're removing the shoes and then the sock, then again a stack, right? Last in first out. So you try to start to see things in a different way, and that is very helpful later, because now that your interest has sparked. So I guess second year may focus mainly on these. Second, again, CS fundamentals. So I guess mostly CS fundamental subjects, like the main ones, DBMS, OOPS, OS, will be given to you in your second year. So use that, learn as much as possible about CS fundamentals. In third year, go for internship, do the networking, go for internship, go to contest, go to hackathons, build your resume. That is what the third year is for, according to me. In fourth, I would say, now that the interview time has come, so what you can do is you can just do the timing preparation, like timed problem solving, then applying to multiple companies. If you already have an internship, how you would be able to convert it to the PPO. Then third and fourth year is mainly also for building projects, building good projects, not just clone of this or clone of that, and then building your resume in general. uh, then using your resume, sending your resume to other people and getting the reviews, doing the mock interviews with your friends would really helpful. Or like first semester of fourth year is for that. And then in second semester of fourth year, just apply and just give the interviews, get a good offer from a good fan company, and you'll be sorted. So I guess once, if you start early, the preparation is not daunting. But if you start late, like I have seen people who start in first semester of fourth year, so that is very very daunting experience. You have to manage a lot of things, and you don't get what you actually deserve, because you know that you can do it, but just because you started late, you were not able to crack a particular offer. So then it's little sad. So instead of regret, I would suggest that just start early and just maintain the consistency. That's it.
Very well said, and it looks like a complete roadmap to me. So, if you
Yeah.
had to pick just three focus areas for cracking Amazon, what would they be?
Uh, Three focus areas. I would suggest, as a product-based company, Amazon focuses a lot on DSA. So DSA is a
DSA.
must. That is like the main fundamental thing you have to go through. Second is CS fundamental. Again, you never know what question you will be asked. You never know what that paragraph from that particular book will be useful when you are trying to answer a question. So that is very important, CS fundamentals. And third, I would say, is leadership principles. So in Amazon, leadership principle matters a lot, not only when you are trying to get into Amazon, but when you are working in Amazon also. So every day you will be judged based on the leadership principle. Every task, every project that you do will have the leadership principles attached to it. That what was expected from you in that frame of those leadership principles. The review that you get, right, yearly review that you get, also is based on the leadership principle, that what are the your strong leadership principles, what are your weak areas, based on that leadership principle. So they are very important. And if you are solely focusing on Amazon, please go through the leadership principle, understand them on a deeper level, and try to just incorporate those things in your day-to-day routine while working at Amazon or while trying to get into Amazon. So if you are good with the leadership principles when you're trying to get into Amazon, and it will be much easier for you to maintain those when you are actually working at Amazon.
Amazon, apart from the college placements or external placements, what all other ways that you can get into Amazon?
So for uh, the things that, I mean, from whatever I have experienced, First is you can directly apply to their portal, official portal. Second is through referral. Third is through, so this is, they also have a diversity hiring program, which is called as an Amazon Wow. So third is that for girls, they can go through this as well. So these are the three ways I'm aware of for getting into Amazon.
Okay.
Okay.
So
Time for another segment of the show, which is called Rapid Fire. And it is fun and insightful. So, answer the question in the context of getting placed at Amazon.
Hmm,
Okay. Uh,
sure.
okay, we'll start. What was your most unexpected challenge?
Managing my interview preparation for my off-campus placement and also the internship that I was doing.
Okay. A moment you would love to relive again.
So when I was giving interviews, I had a clash of Microsoft interviews and Amazon interviews on the same day. And when
Wow.
I was giving Amazon interview, my Microsoft recruiter was calling me, like he called me 10 times to tell me to join the call for the next round. So it was a very thrilling and fun moment for me. So yeah, I would like to relive that moment.
one thing you'd do differently if you had a time machine.
I would say I would just start preparing early. Um, for Amazon, it was yeah, I would just start preparing early basically, and I would
Mhm.
focus on more on CS fundamentals.
Okay.
Uh,
So it is time already. Okay, so before we sign off, what's one piece of advice you'd give to students who feel stuck, nervous before the interviews?
Okay, so I would suggest that interviews is like a two-way communication. So it's fine if you are feeling nervous, and it is completely okay. To not feel nervous, I would suggest like practice like mock interviews. But I know when you are, when there is so much at stake and when you are actually interviewing for your dream company, it is a nervous moment, but it's completely fine. It's just that if you deserve this, if you know you deserve this, you are gonna do good. And if you deserve this, you're gonna get it. So you just have to calm down a little, and whatever you deserve or whichever company you deserve will take you in. So it is all fine if you, even if you don't make it for a particular company, you might get a better company than this. So it is all chill. Yeah.
Very well said. So,
Yeah.
how to handle your emotions while preparing for such interviews, especially for MAANG companies?
you go on an emotional roller coaster, right? Because
Exactly.
uh, it is your dream company, and you want to get selected, and your resume is shortlisted, and there are many technical rounds. So you go on a like what to read, what not to read, and
Yeah,
these
yeah,
kind of
that's
stuff.
right.
Yeah. So how to
Yeah.
handle that?
Okay, so again, for this, I understand the emotional roller coaster that we go through for all the interviews that we have, especially for the dream companies we have in our mind. So I would suggest that, just start early, prepare early, so at least you will have that self-confidence that even if I'm nervous, I know I'll be able to make it. If these are the kind of questions, or this is the complexity of the questions that will be asked, I know I'll be able to make it. Just so be like self confident, and to build that self confident, you have to practice, you have to maintain the consistency, you have to actually do the hard work. Nothing comes easy. MAANG is nobody that has gotten into MAANG has done it like on basis of like month preparation or 2 month preparation. You have to maintain that consistency when you are preparing. So just prepare early, prepare well. So at the time of interview, you will feel self-confident and you will not just go through all the resources and what to read and what not to read. So just to reduce that emotional roller coaster, just to reduce that jumbling, you can just start preparing early and then feel a little calm down when you are actually giving the interviews.
Wow. Well said. And we see you as the epitome of hard work and dedication. And thank you so much for joining us, Ankita. It felt wholesome hearing your journey and wishing you all the continued success now and beyond.
Yeah, yeah, it was very good. So I was not expecting it to be this fun. I thought it would be like a formal podcast and then done, but it was very much fun talking to both of you. I love the energy. Keep going, guys. You will blow up soon.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
So that was it. If you want us to cover any specific companies or have any specific questions, do let us know in that comment section.